So we'll get we'll hop into this one. We're actually in the process of smoking a pork shoulder, so we're gonna be in a little bit of a delay here, um, just for a minute or so. But I'll probably get a game up in a couple of hours. I'll be done. Probably like 3 hours. I think I'll be done with this. We get a game up. But we'll just cast this game in the interim, since I'll be stepping away a little bit to tend to this beautiful, beautiful pork shoulder. Just sitting there smoking some cherry wood, some hickory. Oh, it's gonna be beautiful. But what we can do is, since this is on a little bit of a delay, we can kind of go into if there's early aggro, if you're spawning next to Carino, whoever this fourth player ends up being, we can go over kind of things to look at from a perspective and how you might want to change how you play. You know, if you have Fremen as a neighbor or Smuggler as a neighbor, if you want to prepare for some early aggro, what kind of engagements you take, that can dictate to how your build is, right? So for Atreides, stuff like an early rangers with added range is very good at trading into early armies. But you still need some melee so that you can pin the units. And we have Hark. Okay. So this is actually a pretty good and eclectic mix. You got a couple of strong gov threats. You've got strong, you know, hegemony throughout. You have possibly 2 Chom potentials. And of course, Carino's Sards are going to really dookie all over the executioners that Hark has. And Hark into Carino usually needs a bit of micro. You need to have enough to snipe out the Sards. You need to use your operations really intelligently, right? That operation spam is essentially a manpower drain. And then for Fremen can be really good into Carino, really good into Hark. Orbitals with Sards is like a direct counter to Fremen's army. Orbital with Sards really direct counter to everything except for Atreides. Then Atreides has a lot of skill expression in these matchups. Knowing when to kite, knowing when to bounce, using your support drones, using Gurney or Duncan, I think is viable in this. I'd probably say that against Fremen, Duncan is just so much better than anything else you can field. And into a Carino Blob, it's a huge sink of their firepower. Into Hark, Duncan will get chewed apart by some gunners, so and Serbs. So we'll go into how these three kind of play out, but you know, generally you want heavy skirms as Fremen to combat Carino's conscript spam. It also helps against the Serbs and the rest of the units that Hark fields. It does virtually nothing against Atreides under cover tactics. Usually you want a lot of Feds for that. Feds are great into Hark too. They can be good into Carino if you get a jump on them. But again, an orbital, if Carino's going to fight into you, an orbital onto those Sards with, onto those Feds with some Sardaukar just to execute all of them. Feds have really low health for how much CP they cost. So we're going to let them start this up, and I'm going to go over and make sure that this grill's not too hot. Oh, you can't play? It's a bummer. Yeah, it's life happens. People get busy. I get it. I just moved in with the girlfriend, so we have a house we're trying to make a little more livable, and her mom's in town for the past few days, so it's been busy. But now I've reclaimed my little corner where I can play Dune. It's just been a busy month. But yeah, this is actually really a fun lobby. This, I think, is one of my favorite kind of lobbies to be in, because every faction has really unique interactions with the other, right? If the Emperor and Hark want to like tank some Landsrat on Atreides, they can do that. They actually have the counters for it too. Oh no, I'm sorry, they have Kronvati. Interesting. Okay. So we'll go one by one. So Fremen, Haxar's got a Ramallo and Stilgar. This is a classic. Really easy to conceptualize and understand, but you know, Stilgar, you want to take a look at all your sieges first. So click up on that top left button. You'll find all of them. Anyone that has a knowledge trade, you want to ally that up as soon as you capture your first village. Anything that has, here we go, Fremen Scientist. This is just an absolutely goated siege. So if you have Stilgar, you would ally this up or start trading immediately. And your first tech out the gate is going to be Fremen Solidarity. This is going to help you get to 100 relation, so you can ally the siege ASAP. In effect, this is going to almost double your knowledge early game at the expense of a little bit of water. In addition, right, you're going to get 10 Slayer production for this. So these trades also can make you a ton of money if you ally them early. If I were Fremen in this situation, look at your sieges and look what you get. So, manpower early, always nice. Solari early, always nice. All these Solari sieges, there's 2, 3 there, and then, yeah, so three Solari sieges, and then the manpower sieges and Plascrete I would ally up. The last one I would do is honestly this Spice siege. This just makes you less, usually, than others, and also increase your Spice tax that you owe. So, early on, that's how I would ally it up, is look for knowledge sieges for the trade, look for knowledge, the Fremen Scientist siege ASAP, and then Solari, Manpower, and Plascrete ally them up. Early on, near your main base, you can pillage territories that are underneath your main base. They're easier to continually pillage and less likely to get annexed or something. You don't really need these as Fremen, right? So probably these two I would pillage. Let's take a look here. So he's a Fremen Scientist, always worth getting. That's basically free knowledge, free research hub. Your caves, unless you're going to be aggro really early, which sometimes you need to be. I actually pillaged this once. So by the time you're really, you know, going to be built up to aggro people hard, it's going to be month 3 that you're really going for the throat. So if you want to delay this for month 3, 4, and pillage as soon as you see it, you can always do that, and then get this power spike in the power bonus later. But yeah, you know, all of these you can really just probably pillage. There's no reason to take them. And then I would focus on stuff like these nice bunkers and regions that have the materials, the resources that you want. The other consideration, as Fremen, is picking up your POIs. So right now, this skirm is helpful. This is probably how you optimize your DPS for killing militias, getting these 4 up front. You get a warrior, infiltrator, and then your second be a skirm and another infiltrator. I would take this skirm though and just start picking up POIs. So I'd send it here, 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 and queue it back to the main base. What that's going to do is early on you're going to have a spike of like 500 Solari, you'll have all the authority. It'll help you with your tempo a lot better than having him contribute over here to pillaging. The second thing is getting up, especially with Ramallo, is tons of harvesting teams up early. He has a really nice spawn here. He has one here, he has his spawn, and then he has one up here. And these are relatively safe, I'd say. If he were to take shield wall, he could put a turret here for a bunker. That'd also be very strong. And then in terms of deep desert surrounds, that's the last thing as Fremen you want to look for. If it's easy, then just go for it, especially if the opponent's terrain doesn't really allow them to defend it well. In this case, I think he pillages all these. He can look over get the spice fields, get his specials. He has 3 here that are pretty safe, and then he has White Rift that he'll have to fight over. The last thing for him is where are his sieges? That's where you can really fight and attrition people over land. He has a siege here on Observatory Mountain, so he should not lose this territory. Aside from that, all the sieges kind of cross maps, so they really encourage him to be a little more aggressive, but nothing native. So White Rift might be really hard for him to hold, because if he's over here defending and he gets attacked here, to actually get a worm to take him up there might take 2 worms. So that's actually a really hard thing for him to hold, especially if there's not an easy bunker here on White Rift. Okay, Atreides time. Jessica, UA is wonderful. Just easy, early superiority in your army. That extra health that you get really goes a long way. The other thing you get with UA is you get faster regen speed. So relatively early support drones is really nice. As soon as you get some damage on them, you just run them back, you heal up, and you go back out to fight someone over a border. You'll be able to get a really nice sustainable manpower drain, and he helps you do that. You just kind of go back and forth, preserve your veterancy. Tech-wise, this is totally fine. Usually you see people do this with Thufir, is going to heavier blue. And that's because sustainable spying and spying mastery helps you get stuff like Sook Doctors up early that are really, really strong. Otherwise, you want to play somewhat tight early if you have aggro. He's not yet scouted who his neighbors are. Here, he can actually see Karina's one of them, but he doesn't really know who's up here yet unless he sees an Ornithopter. With that said, you know, this is a really nice location for a Spice Field because he can connect these two with a silo here. So I actually think these 3 territories is a perfectly fine way to start. Put an upkeep reduction, which is, again, really, really necessary for Atreides in these sorts of situations where you want to play a little high and tight early. So he has Plascrete, and he's going to need a lot of Plascrete knowledge and eventually manpower. And I think at least 1 manpower building here is going to be really, really nice. Oh, shit. Okay, I got to go turn down the heat on this grill because it looks like it's getting a little bit toasty. Okay. So, yeah, early on as Jessica, I think a very smart or prudent way of doing this is people can offer you truces and treaties, and I would accept them. I wouldn't send these out because it costs you influence, which you want as Atreides, and it costs you authority, which you want as Atreides. So let them do it. It's to their benefit. You can go for political agreement. Rarely people want this that early, but just bundle it in. If you're going to offer it, make them accept that. Lay of the land, urban planning. These are the 3 techs. They're all on tier 2 that give you eco, research, and political treaties. And for Atreides, just get them all, offer them to everyone. If you want to come down here for culture assimilation, earlier authority generation with that 3rd agent, you do that too. And that's a pretty good sustainable way is you offer these treaties and truces, you get early house gift to get influence, and people will accept it. Now on top of that, if you can find a siege, I'll show you the siege that you want. Right here. This will trigger for a non-aggression pact in addition to each treaty, so you can get up to 120 Solari in a lobby like this. Even more if I think you have Sards, I think that counts as a treaty for that purpose. And little robot agents from Vernius.
Master.
Looking at the Landsrad trial, you never really want to pass as Atreides. Fremen try to force it through. I would have just saved your votes. Though the House Miners really let that go. Missionaries are going to go through, and then everyone gets some foreign recruitment. So this is really, yeah, everyone's kind of okay for this.
Listening.
I think Hark's best off in this situation because they're usually pretty manpower hungry early. And you see good, he took Mount Idaho, he's getting up a turret early because he sees Fremen as a neighbor.
Yes.
Fremen went for an early cruiser wreck. This is kind of odd. It's not that cruiser wreck for Fremen's not useful, it certainly is. Is it what you need to get early in terms of resources? No, I mean it's good water supply, sure. The other specialists don't have great water. But strategically, these others I think probably are a little bit smarter to take. This will, you know, reduce your upkeep here on Shield Wall, and this just gives you influence and intel production more importantly. And so I think that might be worth taking, or even just going for these sorts of bunkers. Okay. So back to Atreides. Truces, and then you want to annex and look for bunkers, right? Eventually you're going to spread out, so if you need to contest something like the middle, don't worry about it now. But you can always take this and then annex. And you want to always have it discovered too, in case a Landsrad resolution makes the center free. Then you can just annex it for 40 influence. But you see down here he's found an acid lakes. This is very, very useful to take early, because once Atreides has this, he shouldn't be losing it. You could probably bunk this up a little bit here, and just kite along this border. Carino should not be able to push him off this for the entire game once he gets it, so that's pretty safe. Over here, he has another spice field, and oh man, yeah, so if he takes this one, put a furnace here, and it'll hit all 3 of his spice fields. That's pretty strong. And then the quirks on these fields aren't excellent, but yeah, so maybe you go here, take this region, you get nice upkeep reduction on all of these regions. You have 3 spice fields, and then you can kind of focus on expanding out further. Basin is very nice to take too early on. There looks like there's going to be a bunker on here too on Basin. And this is just a really, I mean, in terms of ranking special regions, Basin's excellent. Crescent Ridge as Atreides is nice because it's usually pretty water-starved. And then looking around at your neighboring regions, if you have a lot of 2s or 1s, going for Insulated Valley is not a bad idea. Then Carino land. So Carino sees a Fremen neighbor, so he needs to play a little cagey. Anything that's not directly underneath your main base is going to be at risk of liberation if they get donkeys. He's doing a smart thing here, going with conscripts. These are ranged, nice. But what you want to search for is a fuel cell, preferably under your main base. That fuel cell lets you get an early mechanization, an early arty drone, and once you upgrade that arty drone with increased range, you can effectively fend people off, right? You can put your tank right here and cover these other regions from being liberated or attacked.
We serve the Imperium.
Are you going to kill it in one engagement? No. But can you take a shot with that arty drone and then retreat it back under the base? Yeah. And that arty drone is going to do splash damage. The main base does a ton of splash damage. And you just attrition their manpower. And so you might not win the first engagement. You don't commit to it. You just want to poke away at them and force them to take missiles from under the main base. And if they start actually chasing under the main base, right, try to cluster them underneath, and the missiles will do their work. Let's see here.
Ready.
Okay. In terms of text, he's gone for... this is all fine. These are the 3 most important texts for you to get as Carino. This helps your... if you're going to build tall, this basically will offset half your army cost before 40 CP. Getting integrated costs. Each of these regions will get 10 passive Solari generation. And that'll be amplified by other bonuses too. He's doing a good job here, it looks like, of striping these regions accordingly. So this will probably become a blue region, right, with my guess is some investment offices or something. He needs to get fuel cells on here. It's already maxed out on yellow. This is actually... oh. Data brokers here is not a bad idea, but again, investment office here is going to help actually make some money. And then his spice region is going to be his manpower, so he actually does need to get that up. And then, of course, with Fenring, the other thing you can do, really should do, is one, get a lot of ornithopters, right?
On watch.
You find these things faster, but your real limit's just going to be on finding them and then picking them up. Pick up you know, this for 50 intel. Pick this up if you can afford to, so you can get to that 5k hedge sooner. But more importantly, if you can find stuff like, let's see if we can find any here. Is it discovered any? If you can find Fremen warrior pickups, those are very powerful. So this one over here, right? He has I believe he has a treaty with Atreides. Yeah. So he can pick this up using Fenring and get him back here. That front line against Fremen is going to be pretty durable. So it's a pretty good idea to use that as a front line with your conscripts in the back, and they'll stay good for a while. Harkland. Hark's gone with Chronovatia and Kudu. This is a pretty eco-focused thing, so oppression is going to build your stuff faster, and you'll get a discount when oppressing. You'll get some manpower refunded. So you want to use to speed building and some tempo. Then later, once you have stuff like martial economy, when you're pressing and killing these rebellions, you'll get Solari for it. And that's the other bonus. It's a non-spice eco for Hart. Looking around, they're doing a good job here. Mount Idaho, really good for plasticry production. In this case, it's also in his border territory with Fremen. This is a great place for military base because it touches all these other regions. And he's gone here for this spice field. I like this a lot too. Really, this is a very important region, Imperial Basin, for Hark. Getting a bunker here against the Atreides would be pretty good and pretty hard for Atreides to push. And Hark really should be able to take these three, to be honest. It might be pretty hard to take him off it. Up here, he must see White Rift. Again, a manpower quirk on it. This terrain favors Hark as well.
Listening.
But there's the desert, so if there's going to be a fight, Fremen's going to be, you know, warming on top of it. There's also no siege here. He doesn't know that yet. But this region is going to be favored for Hark because Hark can reinforce with airfields, and Fremen will not be able to. He also sees a really nice versatile quirk, scavenger quirk on this spice field. So this is he has some nice stuff in the back here. Okay, and he sees a nice siege here for Hark. It's good to keep track of these as Hark, so that you can pillage them either early on or Fremen's in the game to mess with them. More often than not, though, you keep this for late game. You can pillage this and get tons of resources as Hark. So looking here, looks like, about to say, private mandate pass. That's why there's so much money for pillaging this. And infrastructure controls. People should really be booming here. Fremen has truce with people. And this is tricky. Does Fremen want to break truce and betray? It looks like he does. I don't know if this is worth it. Hark can be a pretty tough foe to deal with early on, and Fremen's not going to hold this. He might just be wanting to deny Hark the ability to take it. So I'd like to see a plan here. He has Ramallo, so he should be able to cook up stuff like a supply drop. We'll see where his tech tree's at. So he's going to some pretty standard stuff. Desert Wisdom, I usually recommend not going for early unless you're going for a specific sort of build. You're usually better off just building research hubs and going native customs to maximize your authority gain. You get an extra 20%, and then you can take those siege regions for cheaper. So I think that might be a better choice for him early. And yeah, he's taking White Rift. Hark is now being chased off the middle. Hark is not going to have an easy time here. He has very good reach and has good setup. It looks like some people have decided to wage war against the poor Baron. And they're just going to, deny some pillaging. This is actually pretty smart.
Next step?
Now, I think even early on, Hark can actually wipe this sort of army with stealth serves. Stealth serves are something people really discount. They're going to win 1v1 against probably every other 3 CP unit in the game. And early on, before operations are down, probably are very effective at trading in other units. If you run from a serve, especially conscripts, they proc a bleed effect, and that bleed effect will tick down something insane. It can be up to like 50 to 80 health per tick per running animation. So you'll see units just lose 100 health within a second or two running from the serve. It's kind of insane. So early on, what I recommend, if you're playing Hark, go for stealth serves, and you want to get a few of these, because again, if he tries to take this engagement and he doesn't know you have 3 or 4 serves in the back line, as you engage, either the conscript's going to die, or if they start running, they'll die faster. Fremen's gun specials has gotten 4 specials now early. Has Oathame out, so really big power spike for him. And we're pre-month 3, so this is very, very early and aggressive. He's gone for Stalwart Alliance, so he's actually going to go for some aggression, I think. I can't think of another reason to do that otherwise. But is he going to have the military size to do this early? I don't know. Does he have any? He has one manpower there. He has just 1 manpower building. And with Jamis, you can get away with this because you can trade out authority early for manpower. Looking here, yeah, I mean, Hark's floating a ton of manpower right now. He should really be, he's militia out, which is good. It's probably heavies, but he should really have his military, yeah, he's getting it now. He needs the rest of his red tech for sure. Then he can deal with the rest of this stuff. And he should be able to see that Fremen's up to something, right? smart. He's trying to sacrifice these guys to pick up these POIs. I like it. Chome-wise, Hark's at 10%, Carino's at 10, Fremen's at 3. It looks like Fremen's just going to be pillaging a ton right now while this land threat is up, and using some of that to buy Chome. You can do that, try to get 10%. It's a nice place to be, especially when Chome's cheap.
Listening.
But Fremen may want to keep it, and then now that he's at 10k, begin investing in allying these sieges and getting his main base building stuff, right? So at 10k, you can build in these allied sieges. He has Fremen Solidarity. He's not trading with this. Oh, he is trading with this one now. Okay. Good. So he's got Admin Hall going up there. Helping Hand. It looks like he was a little late on allying some of these. He's going Embassy, so actually he's strong blue and red. Yeah, triple red at the top. Okay. Again, here's one where with Serbs, these all die. And then you can continue this trek inward. This is also going to be a very nice bunker for Hark once he gets it. And again, there's nowhere over here where Fremen can reinforce with a siege. So it'll be hard for Fremen to actually hold this. Meanwhile, over here, Carino's got a really nice well-enriched his file. And we got to think about Carino's drop. So if you're Fremen, yeah, you don't want to be dropped in your main base, but you also want to look around and say, what specials do you want him to not be able to drop next to? If he drops here, he'll take this and be able to defend it under the main base pretty easily, and from there probably take Observatory Mountain. There's a siege, so you can make it a heavy attrition battle, right?
Listening.
In the center, Carino probably won't be dropping the center. That'd be kind of suicidal. He's probably going to go for a very conservative drop, probably here, is my guess. He has a special there. He has a nice safe sandfall in the back. He probably doesn't need to necessarily be too adventurous with his drop. He'll be fine. Actually, it's a very nice eco setup here. One thing I do see missing, though, is a lot of intel quirks on these villages. He has one over here, which he's gotten 6, he's getting 6 intel a day from this one, which is nice. But that's the only other thing I'd really look at for him. It's going double blue, he's got an Emperor Monument, and the other... So if you go with this, if you don't have a lot of intel quirks, I'd actually recommend getting double blue in your next main base, so that you have another 5 intel production from your main base, 15 total. That'll probably get him to a comfortable place, but some people feel comfortable with just Fenring and picking up all these intel POIs instead and using that.
I'll respect my words.
Looks like Fremen is still pillaging. There is no military base, and there's no, oof, this is not, ideal. Let's take a look here. So we got 40 CP versus probably 40. There's some Sards in there too, which you might not realize. Oh, geez, yeah, so I mean, does he have... Yeah, so combat drags us up. In this situation, you want Othame not to be in this. If Othame goes in here, he can die. So Othame should be stealth and here on the side. The rest of them can fight in this blob. One thing you see that some of these guys in combat are staying stealth. So you can overkill a unit when you first click this Fremen. When you overclick and you overkill the unit, because the others haven't had a chance to attack, they'll just stay stealth and they won't do anything. It's very frustrating. So I recommend shift clicking, that's one way of doing it. And again, if you have Othame, you just want to keep him to the side and stealthed. If you expose him like that, he can get focused down. And because you overkilled him early, Othame was exposed, he lost him. And this should have been pretty handily a Fremen win. And again, these are just Sards. There's not even execution meat stacks yet. So, unlucky. Let's look at upgrades. I thought that he had, yeah, Stalwart Alliance, so he's missing out on some upgrades. Now he sees it. Okay. Another thing I'd recommend is skirms. There's an inclination to want to do this 10% damage bonus. This is very little actual damage, right? 10%. We take a look at the skirmisher. Well, can we? No, we can't. That's right. Frem doesn't have any manpower. He's building it, but yeah. Hark has plenty. 10% is like so marginal of an increase on top of how they function that it's basically negligible. There's no reason to ever take this 10% more damage. I would take the 10% less damage against units you attack, because that'll be something at least to increase survivability for your whole army as Fremen. But skirmisher damage is not high enough. The power's not high enough to justify this anti-personnel shrapnels. And again, you get 20% extra damage per unit hit. If anything, you go for scatter grenades. Hitting a single extra unit will do 20% more damage, instead of this giving you a flat 10. So scatter grenades is the way to go. You don't need stealth natively if you're going to be worming in your territory or using hidden tracks. So scatter grenades for the radius hugely increases the damage you do. And then loud bang increases your survivability. So that should really be, you know, the standard. You can do early stealth as Fremen. I think it's reasonable to send them around and be a nuisance. Later in the game, in mid-game, I think it's better just to plan to have this, you know, stealth from operations stuff. Electronic Scrambler is very helpful against stuff like arty drones. But focused mine is usually what you want to go for. Doesn't, you know, it reduces likely to get slowed in combat, gives you a little extra survivability with armor, and then of course chasing stance. And then for warrior, this is probably what is typical. Unless you have like 60 to 80 water, this is what you should go for. If you do have 60 to 80 water and you're gonna at least that, you can change this out for this little faucet, this dry training. And then for donkeys, of course, stealth detection, first strike, and ambush camouflage. These three should really be circumstantial when you want them. Against Serbs, in this kind of lobby, I'd probably go with... oh, can Fremen get dropped? Oh, man. Let's take a look at the diplomacy tab. So Fremen and Carino are not in truce, and Carino's doing some crazy stuff. It sounds like he heard the little heads up from our friends, the Harkonnens. And, oh, man. This is pretty dangerous.
Yes, Majesty.
Now, you'll see here, if he spreads these out, he can shoot down these feds. These feds are not very good in this sort of situation. He could wipe this easy. He's just going to pillage, though, instead, and take advantage of that extra resources we'll get here, right? This is very smart from Carino. Very smart. I like this a lot. And again, this is a lack of manpower and really needing military. You went for an early trinkets, which is fine if you're doing a trading sort of eco. Looks like he kind of is doing that. Yeah. Definitely is floating him quite a bit. The big downside doing all this trading, right? Trinkets doubles the income you get from trading with sieges. The problem is you do so at the expense of all the authority. So if you look at Fremen, only 8.7 authority per day. 4 is being taken up by his treaties. So, little harder to justify. If you do this, I would also recommend getting an early military propaganda to offset some of that authority generation. But Fremen's being smart here. Take his licks. Just going to build up. He needs to get the rest of his red buildings up. The command post. Yada yada. And he'll have to get Oathane back up as well as to be a pain in the butt. Now the other issue with doing this early as Fremen is he's front running with passive. If you're gonna do this, take regions in the middle or in other people's territory so that when they win it from you, they feel like they've won something they don't want to lose. If that makes sense. It's a little bit tougher in... Oh no, the donkey, get in the territory. I think that'll live. I think the noble steed will live. You know, if he'd taken the center and was cooking and they take it off him, it'll go down, but he'll have retained all the hedge that he's built up in the meantime. So you can do this, but if you do, I recommend saving something like Cruiser Wreck for later in the game and taking something like Polar Sink early if you're going to lose a territory. I don't know if he's able to take and hold White Rift, especially with Hark set up the way it is, and no siege over here. So this is going to be a lost cause, I think. And Fremen's actually had quite a bit of influence right now. Carino's going to handily do whatever they want with it, though. He could easily take Eye here. I don't think everyone's going to feel too strongly about getting Atreides' Eye. We'll see. Interesting. Recycling vats. Does he have Mason's Guild? No. Does he? Oh no, he doesn't have Mason's Guild. So, water, yeah, it can be tight for Fremen, sure. He just needs to build, you know, cap like this spice field and build water. Cap this as a bunker and build water, right? He needs to just take his regions and build build some wind traps. So this is a little perplexing. But Mason's Guild lets you build out really quickly, and each of these fully built out villages will give you 10 slurry production. Which for Fremen, when you tend to build out kind of wide with how they function, ends up adding up. So you could imagine he could have an extra 40, if you build southeast regions, an extra 40 production per day of slurry with the Mason's Guild. Now look at the show market. Carino's doing fine. Fremen's doing the red tech. Atreides is just hanging out, having a great time. Has Chome support. Has these spice fields. He needs to crew these harvesters up before tax hits so that he gets some stacks of Atreides foreman. Right? He's got this really nice cluster here. So I'd love to see a silo. I want to see a furnace very badly. That'd be beautiful. And that alone is going to really be very strong. He went with Gurney, which again, I think this matchup's actually okay, especially with UA. It lets you attrition stuff down. And he's taken acid links, which again is a very nice touch. Let's see, okay, he's got a nice strong network down there. So Atreides, yeah, 2 fuel cells, versatile on one, strong network on the other. He was able to get base in, so this is really, really nice pick for him. And the middle is still open. Hark, let's see, Hark has 2 spice fields here, 2 over here, so 4 total. If he really juices these up, he can probably make about 1.5 to 2k a day. With Kronvatia, right? It looks like he went with Raban as well. Is that what that is? Or no, that's just a random. Sorry, he's just building one heavy militia out of nowhere. Go martial economy, go in crew training, show him support nice. So this is everything you need as Hark. And then I'd usually say, depending on the lobby, crew reputation and spying logistics. Early hedge, outpost. Honestly, all of this is stuff that he needs, but enhanced questioning is very, very strong. So we'll see where he goes. I think in this sort of lobby, I would err more towards getting early craft workshops up, just so you can start competing with Fremen, you know, going for crafts very early. Carino, meanwhile, has a pretty decent-sized army here. Looks like a very strong position. He's got double, triple blue. He's building up his red base right now. He's not gotten parallel training building up yet. He's going for a Chone branch there. Interesting. And he was able to cap Sandfall. Very nice. Looking at his passive income here. So, yeah, I mean, he's making good money. Look at this, 164 from this well. It's not bad. So yeah, the Chone market looks healthy. So Fremen here, I think again, authority is still kind of lacking from all these siege alliances. This is the big downside to doing something like this. He needs to capture some of these regions just to get more resources and build out better. 15 is not going to be enough manpower production. And so he just needs more. The eco otherwise is fine, but this is probably a more pressing issue for him right now. Ooh, looks like Atreides could have had Eye if Fremen went all in on it, but didn't. Begging forgiveness, not a bad idea.
We live to serve.
Mark may have undercommitted here to his, he'll lose a couple here, but that should be fine. Will he?
Yes.
Yeah. So pillage, nice. Looks like Othane was bought back. He's gonna start going, I think, probably should be going for his fuel cells now. Yeah. Oh no! So I wouldn't pillage this region this late in the game. He needs these fuel cells as a power spike. Fremen on one cave is very hard to deal with late game, or to do anything of substance. The way damage and power calculations work, the higher that power bonus, the more your damage bonuses end up yielding dividends. So one cave is 5%, 2 caves is 10, 3 caves is 15. He needs to, since he only has these 2 that are safe, he needs to have these. And then he should really be making a play for this one. 3 caves you can start really fighting stuff, but 2 caves like a bare minimum to not be a wet noodle. So, looking at Fremen here, right, if you saw your setup, maybe pillage this first, but by month 3 or 4 when that pillage decrement wears off, you want to cap it so you can build a cave. This one you should cap and get a cave for sure. But now where else can you get caves from? You can't really. So you get 30% shown to make it better, or you gotta be really, really cagey in how you play. In this case, I think going for this as a bunker is probably your better bet. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to hold against Carino, but I don't really know what else you're supposed to do in that situation. Cooking early hedge is not bad. And I'm gonna go over and turn down the smoke a little bit. Alright. So, there's some negotiations happening here. Now, tax negotiations here is nice. I think if you're in the situation as Atreides or as Carino, every single council, you want to bump something up. You want to make them take a pick. Tax negotiations, or am I going to vote on judge? Tax negotiations, am I going to vote on speaker, water sellers? And that gives you so much more ability to get these bonuses for yourself. And that's something where Carino's got 400 votes, plenty of influence. Could have been gov eligible at the next council possibly, had he just pushed water sellers or judge, right? So small things like that are really, it's a lot going on. I acknowledge that it takes a lot of, maybe game sense, I don't know what to call it, ability to know what's going on, to see that and think about it every time. But every single council, especially at this point of the game, you want something that you're eligible for to be up. Especially as Carino with 400 votes, just throw it around, right? So we'll kind of see how this plays out. So he's got going for wonders, nice. Outpost should be next. And then I'd argue civilian defense, border defense, or come down Emperor Eyes, super important. But he's done a very good job getting all this stuff. Looking at his knowledge production, 29 is solid. He's taken very smart treaties and truces. So Carino's basically got everything that he needs other than Emperor Eyes. And even Emperor Eyes, honestly. With Carino and how they set up, you don't need a whole lot of searches. You need a search here, right? Well, you get a search here, actually. He needs 2 cell searches to search all this stuff. So it's not a whole lot more that he needs. He's going to come here and actually pillage the siege. I actually like this a lot. But this is actually... it's not favorable terrain for Fremen. This could be a trap with a nice orbital, and looks like, yeah, very smartly, he's gotten an orbital and a decoy thumper ready. He's gotten 2 arty drones set up, overlapping turrets over the siege. He has all of his guys here. And he spread out his arty drones, so they kind of cover each other here, right? He's got no militia in some of these villages, though. And so Fremen has put on a hiding tracks. Fremen has barely 62 CP. He's got a Fed he's leaving here. Not necessary. Move this guy away. He's not doing anything there. And Carino's moved his conscripts away. Now, one way that Carino can get ready for this is to spread out his units, right? Make sure they're not right next to each other. Spread one there, 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 there. Conscripts, put 1 or 2 on the cliff, all along this cliffside here so they're safe from the worm. Spread out.
Yes.
If Fremen worm's in there, he loses that fight if they're all spread out. Here, he could kill the Feds and then deal with the rest of these. And looks like that's might happen here. So Insignia should go down. An orbital on the Fremen territory. Let's see, you know, it's not going to hit this army, but these Sarge are still going to do some work. This is just poor target prio from Fremen. Very good worm, though. So chasing down Othame here could be good. You'll see these Sards are just going to execute all these Fremen units. So how could you have done this different, right? I think you come up here, you kill these first, and then you go back for seconds. Or, you come here, you kill Winsikia, you leave, and then you go back in. In either case, the lack of operations is kind of the big key factor. And with the Ramallo, you just got to remember, that's a big strength. So you have intel production. Normally Fremen can struggle with it, right? Having fewer building slots. Kurnomi half wiped. He is half wiped, to his credit. And interestingly, he also doesn't have his military academy yet. He only has 4 training slots right now. Fremen similarly only has 4. Shame on both of them. And this training ground siege is being pillaged.
Lead us to freedom.
Let's take a look here. So yeah, Carino's in a very solid spot here. He's got 18% Chome. I believe has Chome tech as well, Chome manipulation, getting wonders almost done. Again, I think Outpost and then Emperorize, and then you can come down to Stealth Gear if you want. I think that's probably how I would look at it. Border defense, just to cluster up more of these defensive perimeters. But he's got a military base here, so that's good. Does he have a military base on this front? He does. Just needs an airfield over here, I think. Maybe an airfield here, move the military base over here. That way you can play really tight on just these territories. Atreides looks like they're pretty happy on Crescent Ridge. Do they have a furnace up? They do? Okay, let's take a look at these sexy Atreides spice fields.
What's your order, sir?
71 spice. Oh, baby. 82, 71. Oh, lovely. Harvester works? No. So yeah, that could be a nice... If you had a Chome branch up, for example, Atreides could really be raking in the dough and buying up some Chome. And I'm surprised Atreides actually doesn't have much. But Park's about to have a nice windfall from pillaging the siege. He's capping here in the back. Is he working? Yeah, good. He's working on his hedge now. And the other thing to think about it politically is cruel reputation. This is kind of their line for influence, and that's because as you spend your intel via operations, you'll get a refund, some of that in influence. So if you launch an assassination that costs 1,000 Solari, you get 250 influence from that. What he can do is he'll prep an assassination against someone. Let's see if he's doing this yet. No. So you can prep an assassination against someone as Hark. You could use these little guys that don't, the brainwash agents that don't produce a lot, right? You prep an assassination. You just get it normally, where it costs 1,000 Solari to start, and then you cancel it. And starting it is going to give you 250 if the enemy, the fact you do it is due to is not in truce, right? If you're in conflict, you get 250 influence when you launch it. You can cancel it and prep it again. And so through that, you can cycle through and max out your influence each session at the cost of intel, which you can get in abundance from pillaging, and Solari, which again you get from pillaging. And let's see, is he going to be able to kill this militia in time? He should be able to. Yeah, I think he's got this. These Serbs do so much damage against unarmored units, so you'll see. I'm pretty sure they'll be able to stop this annexation. Maybe I'll have to eat my own words, though. There he is. Attaboy. Stop that annexing. So you see some politicking here in the lobby. An essential part of any Dune game is who's in the lead, really. It's a fun game. In this case, Atreides in a very strong spot. Has 3 specials, is not yet cooking on one of them. And it's Atreides, so going into Jessica Lakeheim is going to ruin your standing for Chom or for politics. There's a sink open with a bunker next to Basin. And yeah, like, some of the stuff's not going to be taken off him. So he's in a decent spot. Carino's very tight. Sandfall is definitely takeable by Fremen. That's probably their weakest spot. And so for Fremen, that is a possibility. There's a siege right next to it as well for reinforcing. I don't think White Rift is going to be something they can recap. That's really, really tough, because at the same time, the other side of the map is inaccessible. So this is just some of the terrain layout not favoring both of these fronts for Fremen. Does he have a... Okay, yeah, good. Military propaganda stuff, okay. Now getting outposts in desert. These probably should be a little bit sooner than Wonders, but we'll forgive him. And then Sand Diplomats. He needs to get his Algaib Temple up to start building some votes. Right now, eyes on Carino, Speaker on Atreides. Neither of these are something you want, because between the two of these, like, let's say I don't think that they worked on their standing sufficiently, but again, I think if one of them had gone for Water Seller or Judge, we could see by this next council someone gov eligible with Speaker and 2 people eligible. So interesting. Carino voted for Atreides, and I don't know why. Maybe to make himself look like less of a threat. Maybe it's a mistake. I'm not sure. It's odd. A little premature orbital here.
Elite of the Imperium at your service. I am bound to
Yeah, Prem
obey
needs
you.
to really work on some of the stuff. Now, Prem doesn't have any military base on the border here. Big faux pas. At the very least, get one here. And a maintenance center. Right? Reduce the upkeep. He's losing out on a lot of eco here without maintenance centers, despite playing so tall. But he needs a military base. A military base there, he could probably take this off of Hark. With that said, he has that one siege, so. And And the Atreides is doing Atreides stuff. Atreides should really be
Ready.
leveled to max here. He can either go after Sietch's militia or just do normal sort of Atreides stuff and just attack an empty village. I probably would choose the center to do that on, just so you can prevent Hark from pillaging it.
You need my help, hey, Uncle?
So you got triple red, double blue with the Bazaar on single slot for Fremen. We've got triple blue and then triple red for Carino. Atreides is still working on their main base, but they're going to Council Chamber, very potent. And Harvester works. Hey. Carino 23% shown, very strong. Then Hark, triple red, double blue, triple yellow. So we're seeing a mix of stuff. And Fremen going back up here, so you know, I understand the desire to make this work. And I will also say, yeah, Hark doesn't have his Overlord up, but he should be working on that too. That's the big thing missing here. Let's see. So he needs to activate Raban. There he goes. And now as he runs from these Serbs, look how fast these take damage as he runs. Do you see this?
Belongs to the Fremen.
And again, keep Raban in there. He can win that. There's no reason to run. Raban in there gets armor for every unit that's also here. So these units basically do nothing against Raban when he's raged them. This is a good retreat and fighting in this territory for Fremen. I think if Hark just had another operation to drop, he wins this, but it looks like Fremen's gonna clean this up, even with all these stacks.
Anything for you, Baron.
The other thing, again, it's Hark especially, is you want to get your Overlord up ASAP. It's going to be hugely powerful defensively. Offensively, it's a little slow, but any border, it just makes the attrition you can impose immense.
We're Sardaukars. We're ready, Baron. Baron.
The desert will surprise you.
So, Othane's got to be very careful not to get caught here. It's worth retreating Othane. He's going to lose it if that Serb starts tagging him. And there's an orbital coming down. Crazy. So at least run that Serb. That Serb alone would kill Othane as he runs away. Oh, man. Really, really rough go. Carino very smart to drop these cross-map and capitalize on some of this fighting. And you can see locally, he's pillaging the fuck out of Fremen. Jesus. Observatory Mountain being liberated. Oh, this is brutal. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. So, Fremen is at 17-3, about equal with Atreides. Capping that center bunker we told you about before. So this is very smart from Atreides here. Right, he's going for this bunker. He's annexing this at the same time. This annexation, I don't know if I agree with. I think you just attack and you leave your units on it, and you take this reach and you bunker it up. Looking here at the Landsrad, this is one where Krina should just take I think if they don't get to liberate and pillage this, it's not the end of the world, because they have a favorable matchup into Fremen. So Hark puts that onto Atreides. Fremen did not build his Algebraic temple, so only has 120 votes, and so gets bullied off that. But he would not have needed that much in order to actually win that. Some Landsrad Guard just magicked out of nowhere here. Again, this is not necessarily a fight you're going to win as Fremen, but I think focusing on this is a better idea. Desert Watchers, again, probably should have been before Wonders. Being able to ambush stuff in your territory makes defending a whole lot easier. But he needs to rebuild. That's the moral of the story, and I don't think he has any manpower production, because yeah, 30 is not enough for Fremen to be trading like this. And part of it is just enough the territories for it. He needs more. Part of it is his army's weak because he doesn't have caves. Part of it is, you know, he could afford a lot more with a couple of maintenance centers for upkeep production. And this is smart for him to pick up a POI to deal with this.
You alright, boss?
So is that gonna be sufficient? I don't know. Atreides, meanwhile, took a bunker in the center. Is catapulted ahead again. I really like Atreides' setup here. Really strong eco in the back. He's got these 3 spice fields around a furnace. He has Atreides 4 minute early. He doesn't have a Chone branch up, but maybe that's the last slot here. He can get that. Yeah, probably gonna be that. You know, scratch that. What he really needs, he needs his military academy. Then Proud Liberator, and then Wonders, and then Vet Militia. Yeah, I think he's fine. Looking at the land strat, he's gonna go for Judge. Interesting. So this is a futile worm. Oh, okay, I take it all back. He's gonna lose a bunch of manpower here. Look at the damage he takes from these arty drones, right? That was 1 volley, and these guys are already down a 5th of their health. So what you do is you actually worm onto these tanks and you kill them, and you run away. And that's 10 CP down the drain, instead of, I don't know, 8 CP or 7 CP. And then he can go back in and attack with other stuff. But this is what he has to deal with. Very good use of Hidden Thumper, though. I like that a lot. But this is what he needs to go for. And Feds are nice, but Feds and Asards will actually lose. Especially with these arty drones in support. You'll see that the splash damage, if he focuses the Feds, these Feds, or the Asards will execute the Feds really, really easily.
Wish we could go home.
This is also where a couple Infiltrators will do a lot of work to these arty drones, right? Infiltrators with a Skirmisher, that you can take these down really fast. These should already be dead. He's gonna lose his altar if he's not careful.
For a pile of junk.
Meanwhile, Atreides took the middle. He's bunkering it up. He's building this stuff. He has detection. Awesome. He needs to go for border defenses next and just do classic Atreides stuff. He does not need Wonders right now. And then Hark. Let's see, is Hark gonna assassinate someone? No, he's getting some Vapors ready. He took his White Rift. And Fremen is at 17k. I don't see him go much further than that. It's very smart to abandon, though.
We serve the Imperium.
The drama. This is why we live for Dune. So there. Now Fremen's got some manpower, 45, when he's not trying to heal up with all of his stuff. His military academy up. This would have been a very nice spot for his manpower building. But I guess now it's probably glad he didn't do that. Now, this is something where Fremen should be able to repel this. But he needs to think about his army comp. It can't just be all Feds. He has training slots to spare. He has manpower production. So what do you build against this? Well, you do a piecemeal approach. Infiltrators and skirms, always needed. Infiltrators just do great DPS against single target. Come in here, worm in here, kill that. And now you only have one thing to worry about, right? Which is
Yes, Majesty.
your skirms infiltrators on the what he has left of his conscripts, and then without this AOE, you can use Feds into the rest of it. Using the Sards. You can have your altar pick away at it. Another thing you can do is come in here and kill Winsikia, since she's alone. She's actually pretty weak. She's 35 reduction because there's a Sard near, 2 Sards, then her little cheetahs or lions or whatever they are. But this is something where Fremen should be able to kill that. But no, he went to the point. These are all dead. And now Krina can reinforce the Kronos, so that siege is pillaged. Alright, let's look at Atreides' land. Atreides should be just full steam ahead, you know, cook and hedge here. So he's got 4 specials. I think it's 5, right? Is he missing one up here? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I was wrong. Stand corrected. Now, Karina is an option. He can say, I want to kill Fremen and get a base out of it. which is not the worst idea in the world. But I think if you see Krino doing that, that's your signal to try to take something off. With that said, I don't see Hark doing it from over here, unless he captures this little bunker here. And Atreides, honestly, there's not great terrain for Atreides to do it. So I think Krino's kind of safe, honestly. If Krino wanted to go for a base kill on Fremen, he probably could. Let's see what else we got here. So, yeah, Atreides needs to really upgrade some of these militia too. He's got 3 standard militia here instead of some heavies. Good, he's going that. And again, he's Proud Liberator, especially if you're going Gurney and UA. Proud Liberator. That's what you want. Alright, let's go check on the barbecue. Alright, let's see how terribly this went. So they gotta start thinking about this gov threat. Right? With Atreides, Atreides is gonna basically force this into a vote.
We have faith in you, Liet.
So Krino's doing a good job with the limited specials he has accessible to him. He's got a crafts here on well. He's got 2 over here. Now, does he have room over here for an airfield? I don't think so. But he does have a Kronos, so who needs one? Now, one thing to change around here is getting a military base over here. The military base is going to let him push into the center if he wants to. One way to deal with this is just double orbitals on one of these regions to break the bunker. The second is a nuke, which maybe isn't what you always want to do. Let's see here. And the third is use the Kronos to tank the missile batteries while you deal with the militia. Okay, looks like he's going to come up here and go for this. Not a bad idea. Chome-wise, we got 29% on Krino. Very, very nice. So we're about to see a 30% Krino Chome army, which is very strong. These are not vetted though, and he doesn't have a military factory yet. Fremen looks like they want to maybe take a fight. But he doesn't have supply for it either. He needs to get back and heal. What's he doing? He's gonna lose everything here.
Our hope is
Can he
high.
switch this out? Nope. That is devastating, man. So one thing you can do, right, you turn on your little radius here to show where stuff is. You can put your units here, and then you can target your worm here. And that'll drag some people off this rockier ground
This belongs to the Fremen.
into where you want to go, which I assume is over here to fight them. Now this is kind of smart from Krino, actually. Fremen's not going to be strong enough to deal with this once he gets a... Oh my god. Amazing. So you can do this, and then you can go deal with the Atreides on the other side, but... I don't hate this idea. It looks like a friend made an enemy of Krino over here.
Yes, boss.
And you know, Krino might just be saying, hey, I can just out-hedge Atreides. I can deal with their speed a little bit later. He's got the slight, you know, slightly higher passive than Atreides does. I think after capping this, he'll be pretty close, and then he'll be able to make another craft workshop or military propaganda office here, right? Interesting. So it looks like Hark's gonna come up here and actually go for the spice field, I think. He's gonna pillage this. Again, as Hark, you should be pillaging anything that isn't captured, and just save this hedge. That also includes stuff that Atreides can annex. So you may want to send something over here to pillage this, down here to pillage, well, if that were open, to pillage that. But right now, the big threat is Atreides can actually cap these regions over here by PA. Let's see what he has vision to. Okay, is that one to deal with. Then with this. I'm noticing that Atreides does not have any drones, huh? Yeah. So if you're going with Gurney, and Gurney's fine. If you go with Gurney, you should always go for these drones. The drones are what's going to make this army make sense. Other thing is, oh, it's just a friendly mark. Never mind. I thought I was going to lose veterancy on a unit doing this. But yeah, he should stay here, farm this renegade base for experience, get 2 or 3 drones, probably 3 drones. So as soon as your army is down to a couple units plus the drones, run the drones away. You heal up with UA. And because you're Atreides, post-trauma regeneration makes it cheaper to do that. As soon as you're healed up, you go back in. And so you're going to drain manpower, and these guys, pound for pound, have really good stats with Gurney, right? You have like 130, 140 DPS on your ranged troops. You have troopers and wardens with like 12 armor, even more with cover tactics. You'll go kill some units, you'll run away, you'll heal up, and you'll go back in. Alright, let's see here. Fremen's still at war with everyone. Don't know why Atreides, but... Oh no, I'm so sorry, they're not. Krino's at war with Atreides. And then... Okay. Some easy faction stuff. Dune Gov is up now. This is where Fremen, if Fremen had more territories, could make themselves eligible by allying sieges. Right now, there's a case to be made for like not expanding too wide as Fremen, which is that you can take more territory later and spike for cheaper. So take a look here as Fremen, right? It's 92 to take this, 72 to take that because it's a siege territory. You could probably take this. You probably take all these with 500 hedge. It's a pretty big spike. The problem is you just don't have the manpower. You don't have the resources to do this. Unless you get really lucky with the regions you get. So, it's It's a cool idea, but I think in practice it's just not gonna work out. You need the resources too badly, and again, pillaging this is not. Maybe at the start of the game you pillage this region so that you can have a little more eco early, but these fuel cells are what's gonna allow you to actually fight an army like this. This army with these vetted SARDs, almost 200 DPS on a SARD, right? It should actually be about 210, 220 once you have your military factory up. And they're not even juiced up with higher attack speed for the small formation, right? So these SARDs, you get 220, they will chew through Fremen. Even without a double, triple red, they'll still do well. But this is a pretty impressive army. It's just Atreides can deal with this. Hart can deal with that. It being mostly melee is gonna struggle a bit more against factions that have range. Let's see, operations-wise, is Hart going for assassination? No, unfortunately not. Although he does have a Bene Gesserit, which would be really nice for that. Let's look at the Landsrat. So, Gov is up next. Atreides should make sure this is prioed. And then we'll have a race, right? Where Atreides should go all in on Dune Gov. He should win it. Should. And then Prio. Prio's something else. And as speaker, he can avoid lost rights coming up. So this is the clicking talk. 60 days to kill Atreides is how I would think about it, or 60 days to finish the game. For Atreides, that might be annexing stuff. Cross map, close map, doesn't really matter. I think of all the regions on the map, probably the cheapest thing for him to annex is actually probably cross map. It's probably that siege over here. So yeah, for Atreides, let's see how much these cost. This region is 273, 263, 207. Oh, he doesn't see this region yet. Okay, we're gonna have some fighting with Hark here. So this is where the drones are useful, right? So focus down the Serbs and then run away. That's it. And as soon as this fills up, you retreat it back. He needs more drones to save these. So he needs to retreat. And if he retreats right now, he'll have not lost units. Hark would have lost units, but Hark's also dealing with operations being put down, manpower drain. He needs to just leave one guy in here to slow this down, right? And then just come over here and heal up. Good.
What do you need?
Get him out of the drone. There you go. Heal up, guys. Get another support drone. And they will heal up very fast. And as he comes back in, there's no more... Well, he should have killed the Serbs, but... You go back in, and then you go back at the Executioners. Once the stacks fire off, you go back at the Executioners. You keep doing that. He doesn't need to be out of the base. He can take this. Another thing to remember is with the ceasefire and everything for Atreides, they have all these really nice bonuses, right? So decapping them is takes 10% longer. So 6.6 days it takes to liberate them. It takes them only 6 days to take one off you. So if you're rushing to liberate or take a territory, about half a day's Atreides of wiggle room. The thing you can do is you do this little skirmish, ceasefire. If you have some influence stored up, which you do, you force truce them. This is where the control matters here, right? So go back in, keep picking away at these. He outranges them, right, with these rangers, 150 DPS on them. Keep a support drone in the back. Take these out, whittle them away. He's got some Sards in here too, that's pretty cool.
Who can forget the tales of Ducaletto's
Deep
gallant
desert.
men?
Operations-wise, we have another ceasefire ready already by Atreides.
What do you need?
There's an operation down.
Target.
Another ceasefire. Is he gonna get another one ready? Probably. Doesn't have the intel for it right now, but he can pick this up and get it going. It looks like Carino, did they have flamers? They don't. Carino just has a normal standing army. Fremen is just capping in the back. He's still not that far out, honestly. Pretty comparable to what Hark has, but capping this region is going to be important. Getting sieges back up is important. Again, I think if Hark can slow down Atreides, Carino should win this on passive, but Atreides should be able to hold this, right? When we look here, it looks like they forced truce. So that aggression is gone. And now, you know, Hark has to reconsider what's going on. And again, you don't actually want Atreides to drain too much influence here, because Atreides is going to be up for Gov in just a second. And he's going to need their votes. He may have spent too much on that force truce. That is pretty bad. And it looks like over here, Carino's just going to kill these to get influence from executing with the Sarge. Very smart. Very smart. So, are they going to have enough? I don't actually know. We got 21. Why is it so low? He must have been bumping speaker? Smart. So Hark looks like was able to max out their influence. Maybe I just wasn't looking. Yeah. Well, now I feel silly. So Hark could obviously vote Atreides in, or rather vote him out with a loss of rights, and they should. But this is where Atreides maybe dropped the ball, not voting up Dune Gov with all of his influence to prio that. Someone bumped speaker instead, which actually seems to have worked out. I don't see any insider trading shenanigans, so that's good. It's a good old-fashioned hedge game on our hands. Border defense for Atreides coming up. So lots of rights should go through, and then we got to look around and see what Atreides can PA. So if he uses his, if he saves his ceasefires, right, he can PA one of these regions cross map. Let's see, 288. He's got almost 300 authority in the bank. So yeah, something like that. You start a PA on this. As soon as that army comes in, you ceasefire it. It'll finish up, just almost finish up. Or this region here, right? Much closer. That's probably what Atreides' plan is right here, is you PA this, pick up your authority POI. At some point you can clear this and PA this as well. And they might be able to outrace Carino, who doesn't have a lot of expansion room. Oh wow, really nice scholarly investment office, double propaganda office. This is going to make a ton of money off the Detroit Mountain here. So you switch this up for military base, I like it. So this is to see if Ramallo will pop in. So he's finally taking this second cave, which I like. Losterites gets through. Hark for speaker. Very cool. Okay. So let's take a look at the Fremen comp here, since Fremen's having the most
Rocket
trouble.
launcher is loaded. What does Liet
I think this is
command?
fine. He needs to get his caves up. He needs a military base. Now he has one. Nice. Other thing you can do here is start trading his parts for authority, right? At the Fremen recycling plant, you can actually get you can trade those extra parts you're getting from cruiser wreck for one authority that gets multiplied by all your bonuses, so it ends up being almost 2 authority per day. So looks like he's here. So this is a little bit dangerous for Fremen. It's not one you want to walk into. And can he be seen here? No, he doesn't see him. So one option here is with the... Oh, it's not the militia. Oh no. One thing, you want to get the siege back up so you can reinforce. 2, that's basically when you want to run away. Yeah. You can see just how early these Sards get off, right? Once these get to 200 health or so, they're done. And that's why orbital into Fremen with Sards, it's done. You can't do a thing. I don't think he killed a single unit there, right? And his army's pretty tattered. So, how do you deal with this? 1, you don't do it. It's probably the most obvious answer. Number 2, you can have just your altar attack and draw the conscripts. They'll aggro along with the arty drones to attack your altar. When they bunch up, that's when you worm in and you get that alpha strike and kill them, and you run away. But that orbital is going to shut down anything these Sards are near. And again, this is not even a military factory on this Korean army. It is a 30% Chom army, so don't get me wrong, it's really strong. Stronger probably than just a standard military factory one, but this is not going to be a fight that Fremen wins in a million years, especially with this many Sards.
Ready for patrol.
Looking over here, so Atreides, right, still should be looking to annex cross map here. I thought he had the authority. Oh, he went for this one and cleared this up. Okay. And then over here, Fremen's trying to do some cheeky stuff cross map. I like it. And Atreides could probably, yeah, just fly around and squash both these. Up here, he can ceasefire and come back to deal with that. For this to work, you really need a 3rd avenue, which is Carino to come with aggro these at the same time, right? This is just, you know, wasting time over here. The Acid Lakes was never gonna kill it. So come back here, heal up, start attritioning down, or better yet, just ceasefire the guy. Carino, meanwhile, is over here, probably looking to cap this, is my guess. Yep. And again, this probably should be their target for annexation for Atreides. Not because it's necessarily cheaper than this one, but because it's cheaper for Carino to take, right? Now here is one where you could actually theoretically win this fight. Now this is a lot of Fremen mercs though, so
You need a sniper.
being very crafty and keeping this many units all over the place.
Elite of the Imperium at your service.
But there's the orbital. Whole army's repelled, right? All you got to do for that is just got to pick up POIs, Intel POIs all over the place, and you'll piss Intel as Carino. So this is now Atreides' next annexation target. It's this one here in the corner. He needs a ceasefire for that, and to make that work, he needs to come over and deal with this army. It looks like, did he lose his entire army? He did. Ugh, buddy. I missed it. Shame on me. So with Gertie and Atreides and Yue, it's just attrition on these borders, right? Kill some units, do some damage, run back, heal up. Do it again, do it again, do it again. If you take a look, even if you're maxed out on your manpower, it still takes a heavy toll. And these ceasefires really should be used over here. This is what he needs to cap to win. I guess if he waits till spice tax 10 days, maybe this works. You know, maybe he can hold this. Because I think Carino doesn't have enough quite to get over the hump. It'll be close.
Wield instruments of doom.
Very nice burden. Fremen, meanwhile, is going to try to go into this bunker here. And these all get executed summarily. We look at the AoE damage you get here from these arty drones, and then look at when these are actually executing. It's at 50% almost exactly these swords will kill. And so Fremen is not able to deal with that in a region like this.
The turret is a nice
These
gift
donkeys
from
are going
our
for the
enemies.
Chronos. It's cute. It's not enough. Is Carino going to pick up POIs enough to cap this one region? I don't know.
Kulon is quiet.
Looks like no. Can Atreides defend? Does he have it in him? Let's look at the his influence is enough to force truce, I don't know. And who has Judge? Nobody. Ops wise. Okay. Oh, army's up here. So I wouldn't focus on this. If I'm Atreides, I want to stop Imperial Basin from going first. Looks like Fremen's assembling at this siege, which he replenished. This might be a much better plan. Let's actually go towards other stuff. Let's see, he got through a Fremen rebellion? No. Oh, he did awaken the people on Sandfall. Very interesting. So Basin went to Hark. Carino's waiting for tax, and then it probably needs one regional woman on passive. He's only got 100 authority right now, so he can be stopped. Atreides will probably lose these other things in the middle, but again, you come in, you fight, you lose stuff with the drones, you run away, you heal up. So if you're here, it's good to have a bunker with like your missile batteries and detection and stuff, but put like a military base over here, put maybe your water extractor over here, and that way you can run away to those regions to heal up around the building. Right? If each time you build a building, it'll create a little bubble around it that you can replenish around. And so if you spread that around the sink, you have these little projections where you can heal up your units, and you can run away, heal while you're under siege.
Yes.
Oof. Looks like this was able to be pillaged, so that bought a little bit of time. But it's really just going to be taxed, I think. Let's see if there's any faction. Yeah, so each of these faction missions gives 300 hedge when you complete it. So we take a look at Carino. They need to betray or sign a truce or get infil cells. This is the easiest, so you just betray someone, right? If nothing's on the table, just betray anybody. Betray Hark, drop an orbital on them, and then you'll be done with that that mission, you turn it in for the 300 hedge. Hark turned theirs in, Fremen just turned theirs in. So it's another way you can kind of spike, especially at the time of attacks. So yeah, one territory is all he needs, 19 days on that. Otherwise, his passive, he should be done. Oh, interesting. Yeah, it's got like 600 days, so 10 days. 10 days he wins. That's how I look at this. Passive, about 68 a day. Needs about, I don't know, 500 more, probably 500 more to win. So yeah, like 7 days, something like that, which is enough time to liberate. Unless you liberate and take out stuff like the craft workshops, right? And they have been slowed down with this Awaken the People here. Very nice. This one up here should also get shut down, though. And this can be an effective way. So let's say you're Fremen, right? Awaken the People here shuts down 10 of his hedge per day. If he flies down there, that's where you ambush him here. That's where you're worming in and fight him. Or, conversely, up here, you Awaken the People. He flies up here, and you fight him off the pointer on a border, so you can go between them with orbital. But you want him to fly and be kind of, you know, in disarray. Oof. It's a big one. Hark looks like he's, I don't know. Looks like he's going for Carino now. Looks like he probably just broke truce. This is a bunker, though. Does he not have border? He does. So we could probably use another missile battery here, but this is done. But again, I think this a little too late to work on Carino with where he was in the game. Here's the orbital. It's going to shut this whole thing down. And the Sards will come in to clean up whatever remains. And this is always tough as Hark, because the matchup in the army is just bad, right? Sards will tear through these executioners. So you need to revamp your composition into gunners and Serbs and stuff to just like fight him. You use the gunners to focus down the Sards, and then you can win that fight. But this is the matchup you have to worry about as Hark. If you spam operations, if you're spamming vapors on this army, that drains their manpower like crazy, and that can be an effective way of winning a border war with them. Using the Overlord to snipe a bunch of stuff and coming back and going back and forth, that's how you beat Carino is Hark. But this sort of aggression into bunkers not going to do a thing. Yeah, Fremen was right. Fremen had their own ulterior motives, but also, you know, fighting Hark over this was probably the downside, because he would never be able to hold White Rift. And yeah, I think that here at the Trades, you need more drones, and you need to fight until you have like 3 units alive, and then run them back to heal, and then go back in. So that's how you win those border wars. And let's take a look at his, yeah, he got all the right stuff, I think, otherwise.